Yeah, I know.
Hello everyone, welcome to the Heartland Poker Tour. I'm Amanda Leatherman, coming to you from the Ameristar Casino and Hotel here in East Chicago. Guys, this has been a fantastic week. We've had over 430 players in the field, and without further ado, let's meet our final 9.
What city are you from? That's you just say Chicago?
Did we say Lansing?
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
All right, guys, those are our final 9 players. Let's get the cards in the air.
Didn't seem like much of an introduction, right?
Yeah, it's almost like it didn't even happen.
Alright guys, congratulations for making the final table. Let's do introductions of our players. In seat 1, we have Greg Keladakis. Close enough? Alright, he is our chip leader with $2,945,000 from Buffalo Grove, Illinois. Let's give him a hand in there in the 1 seat. And in the 2 seats, we have Mike Yonan with $1,660,000. Mike in the 2 seat here from Chicago, Illinois. Let's give him a round of applause in the 2 seats. In the 3 seat, we have Milos Ivanovic with $1,350,000 from Chicago, Illinois, as well in the 3 seat here. And in the 4 seat, we have Rob Edelstein from Chicago, Illinois with $705,000 in the 4 seat. Let's give him a round of applause. And in the 5 seat, we have Kenny Wynn from Lansing, Illinois with $1,125,000. Kenny, this is your what? Second final table? Second HPT final table? Let's give Kenny a round of applause. And in the 6th seat, Mike Dice with $885,000 in chips from Ann Arbor, Michigan. This is, Mike, what, your second HPT final table? Let's give Mike a round of applause in the 6th seat. And in the 7th seat, Steve Sloan with $450,000 from Sublette, Illinois. Second final table. All right, let's give a round of applause in the 7th seat. And in the 8th seat, we have Jeremy Kleckner with $1,840,000 from Lockport, Illinois. Jeremy in the 8th seat, let's give him a round of applause there. And in the 9th seat, Joe Sidoric with $1,995,000 from Elmhurst, Illinois. In the 9th seat, let's give him a round of applause. All right, we'll get the cards washed up here. Get ready to go. The button is in the 5 seats. We are at 5,000, Annie, 25,000, 50,000. We ended yesterday with 24 minutes left at this level, so that's where we'll begin today. We have our final 9 players. 9th place today is going to receive $13,867. First place today, just over $142,000. We had 432 players in this tournament playing over the last 3 days. Let's go ahead and shuffle up and down and get the cards in the air. Good luck, everyone. 5,000 Annie, 25,000, 50,000 on the blinds.
All right, welcome here to HPTpoker.com. Happy Labor Day to everybody. It's James Larson, joined by Dave Goodfriend, who is from the Chicagoland area. Also, I like to say this now, an HPT champ. Dave, how are you?
That sounds really good, HPT champ, I gotta tell you. It is a bit of a spoiler, though, for some of the people that watched last night. It didn't look like I was going to win last night, I can tell you that.
And we'll see the conclusion of that episode next week, and what we're talking about is when Dave took down the title last year, and that was from the Mount Pleasant, Michigan event, Soaring Eagle Casino Resort, where you were our champion. So this week, that's airing the A episode, and next week where you take the thing down is B. But you didn't really do much last night. Not much was happening. You didn't play a whole lot of hands.
I kind of go on luck box mode next week. I'm really looking forward to seeing what some of the other folks had when I basically had it every time. It was kind of sick. And you know what, James? We got ourselves a heck of a final table here. A lot of good, solid local players. Clearly the most experienced player at this final table. The biggest name perhaps is Super Twan Kenny Wynn. He's got over $900,000 in lifetime earnings. He's made a WPT final table. Very well known here in the Chicago area.
Up top, $142,386. The ninth place money, $13,867. But what's that like to take home? You won, I think, $156,000 and change. I mean, it's truly life changing. But what was it like the next morning when you woke up, Dave? Did you think it was still a dream?
I was pretty hungover from hanging out with all you guys the night before.
You did celebrate. First thing you did is you bought a bottle of champagne.
Yes, I did. That was a lot of fun. It was a great time. It was surreal the next morning. It's like, it really did happen. It's real. Blank is real.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly.
So that was real good, and it changed my life. I mean, there's no getting around it. I'm not going to lie. $156,000 isn't going to make me or break me for the rest of my life.
Sure.
But what it did for me more so in the poker community is probably more relevant than the financial. It kind of gave me a modicum of credibility.
Sure.
As much of a modicum of credibility as an old donkey like me can have.
So it's James Larson and Dave Goodfriend. If you're just joining us here on the Twitch stream, happy Labor Day to everybody, and thanks for joining us. We like to keep it very interactive today, so if you have any questions, you can shoot me a tweet at HPT James, JAYMZ, and we've got some other folks joining us later today. We're going to have poker professional Jeff Madsen. Robert Williamson III is going to be joining us.
So you mean you're going to get some real professionals in here?
Yeah, we're going to get a little bit of everything. So who do you know the most here at this table? I'm just getting started with the names here. We got Greg, Mike, Milos, Robert, Kenny, Mike, Steve, Jeremy, and Joe. Have you played with these guys a lot?
I've played with a few of them before, and the first thing I noticed about this final table is they played quite late last night, till 2 in the morning. And relative to how Heartland final tables have been lately, this is quite shallow right now. Greg K coming back with a big stack. He didn't even have 60 big blinds coming in today, and we had two sub-20 big blind stacks, including Steve Sloan coming back with just 9 big blinds today. As far as who I know the best, I know Mike Younan the best. I mean, he's the one I'm rooting for. We follow each other on Twitter. We've knocked heads in a lot of local tournaments. His best success came a couple years ago. He finished third in one of the big $300 circuit events that had 2,500 people in it, cashed for $58,000, won a $250 tournament earlier in the year for $28,000, and he's certainly the one I'm rooting for. Mike Dice, Rob Edelstein, very well known in the local Chicago poker community, although Mike comes in from Michigan. Those are two very solid young players. Don't know much about the chip leader, Greg K. I have played with him a couple times. I do know, just by looking at him and having played with him, he's good and he's aggressive.
Like we said before, up top, $142,386. Now, I want to give a shout-out to Mike Puccio, who had another deep run. He won this thing last year. He made it into late last night. I think he finished, 20th or something like that?
He made it down to the final 3 tables. Yeah. It took a third bullet for him to come back for day 2. He came back rather short. He had 10, 12 big blinds coming back yesterday. Made a real heck of a run, finishing in 20-something, and a pretty bad beat. Queens versus 9s got it all in good. And you talk about Mike, who won this event in December. The roll call of recent Ameristar winners or Heartland Poker Tour winners here in the Chicago area, just amazing. Nick Papillo, Aaron Massey, Eddie Ochana, 3 amazing poker players. Bob Chow, no slouch either, by the way.
Yeah,
I mean, look at and Pooch, who's clearly a good player as well. I mean, this is proving to be it's getting tougher and tougher to go deep in this Chicago area Heartland Poker
So
Tour.
true. And I told Mike his episode is probably going to air, I think, in 4 to 5 weeks. But I confessed to him, I didn't think he was that good until I watched him play, especially in the second part of that episode. This guy's crazy good. The laydowns that he was making and the reads he was making. I thought Mike was more of an amateur, but this guy, he could play with the best, and he's another HPT, just like you, an HPT champion.
And the kid he beat, Josh Turner's phenomenal. I actually came out and watched part of that final table live that day. Was supporting Ben Castle.
Sure, yeah.
Was rooting for him at that final table. But yeah, Pooch played really well, but Josh was amazing, and he went on a real run after that too.
Speaking of the people that have won,
all right, we got a hand down to the river here. Let's see what the showdown is.
Ace Queen for Ace High.
It's like
And
Ace
Mike's going to
Queen.
show Ace Jack for a pair of jacks.
Ace Queen and Ace Jack, so Mike's going to take that down. We don't have the whole cards, Dave, but we're working on that. The RFID technology, I don't want to say when, but hopefully in the next couple of months we'll have
It's coming.
It's coming, yeah, but I actually enjoy this where we can watch and, we'll delve more into the poker here once we get into this a little bit, but it's kind of fun not to see the whole cards because we can kind of see what they're thinking and maybe try to guess on what's
And
going
the
on.
young man that won the last hand, I would say him and Rob Edelstein, if everybody was starting with equal chips, those would be considered the two favorites here. Mike's played a number of tournaments here in the middle part of the country. He's been on a roll for a couple of years. When I played at Bob Chow's final table here 2 years ago, Mike finished 7th when I finished 6th. We've played a few times across various venues in the Midwest, and he's a really good, strong, solid young player, a good hand reader.
I want to remind you we have another event coming up this week in Colorado.
Can't wait.
Black Hawk, Colorado. It's kind of the granddaddy of them all for us, and I guarantee it's going to be a huge prize pool.
You're not going to guarantee yourself, though, that it's going to make the million, even though it is.
We know it is. I think this will be our 8th time at $1 million, and I've talked to other people that are at other tournaments throughout the country, and they're heading straight out to the Colorado area. And it's still not late. So I just talked to a friend of mine from Los Angeles. She's going to come out. She's just booked a flight for $350. So try to join us. All the information on the webpage at hptpoker.com, and it's going to be
It's going to be a party. It's in Colorado.
It's in Colorado.
Come
There's
on.
so much to do in Colorado.
It's going to be a great time. $1 million prize pool, 4 starting days. I get there Friday night. I can't wait.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun, and we get to see so many friends. I'm from the Midwest, but all the traveling I've done, I have to say, this is a big stop for us because we know a lot of people, but we go to Colorado, we know everybody. We go to casinos across the street, we know people. We go to the hotel, we know people. It's great because we've been going out there for so many years. And somebody asked me last night, they're like, James, why is that event so big? And I said, we just, you build it, they will come. These events just got bigger and bigger and bigger. It's a beautiful place to be, especially this time of year. We don't have to worry about the snow, knock on wood. I've been through everything out there, from snow to rain to mudslides and rocks coming down on the way up there. But it's a beautiful place to be, Black Hawk, Colorado. It's about 45 minutes from the Denver area. Flights are very inexpensive in and out of there right now.
I got a one-way to Denver for Wednesday for $109 on American.
Can't beat that.
And don't know when I'm coming back yet. That's one of the tricky issues when you're traveling and playing poker. The flight out's really easy to plan.
Sure.
The flight back, not so much.
Well, you guys have the luxury of flying Southwest here, though, so you can book 3 or 4 tickets and just cancel the ones you don't want. That's kind of nice.
There's a few little tricks to the trade that we all have.
What do you know about this guy?
Super Twan, legendary Chicago area player, loves to chat at the table, great attitude, fun guy, but beneath all that is a really good poker player. He's been good for a long time, had a great 5-year stretch from 2009 to 2013 where he earned the bulk of the $900,000 that he's got on his Hendon-Ma page. As I mentioned, he's made a WPT final table. He's gone deep in WSOP events, and he's been under the lights. He's been on the big stage before, and I can speak from my own personal experience. having that experience does help, James.
Absolutely. And speaking of the WPT, we've had two of our friends go final table here in the last two events. Just recently, Stan Jablonski. How cool was that?
That was
to see
awesome.
One of our HPT regulars make it to a WPT final table, and bless his heart, he wore the HPT patch on national TV. I mean, the guy's just great.
He's awesome, and he seems to be getting better and better. He was second at the HPT event right before the WPT by the bike. Yes,
correct. Yeah, he is. And you know, you just gotta love a guy like that at the table. He's always smiling. I've only seen him upset a couple of times, but you know, he's just always smiling, and it's congratulations to him. And then before that, my friend Jason Bryn took down the Choctaw event for over $600,000. He's one of our regular players. His brother final tabled a few years ago, so it's great to see these people that we know go deep in these tournaments.
and the reality is, James, Heartland poker players, you know, they've got a reputation. I don't think it's a deserved reputation. As a matter of fact, it's a reputation that probably needs to go out the window at this point, because these events, they're getting, even the one in Colorado next week, it's getting tougher.
Oh, absolutely.
And people are getting better at poker. Even old donkeys like me.
The winner of the
Super Twan!
Super Twan takes it down. He's a business owner originally from Vietnam. He's got over 400,000 in total career winnings, is what he wrote down on here.
Hendon my page shows 900 grand.
Now he final tabled. Did he final table before?
He final tabled Gary, 2007 Gary event. He final tabled on the HPT. He's actually one of